Right. Okay, we should be live, gentlemen. I don't see it feeding through here yet, so while we're waiting for confirmation from people, let us know out there if audio, whatever's not working. Let us know. In the meanwhile, of course, Walter, what are we gonna remind the people of, sir?
Go to hankstrange.com.
That's
Like,
right.
share, subscribe. Buy some stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
go to hankstrange.com, sign up for the email list. All right,
Yeah.
that's very important. Of course, go to Safety Harbor, firearms.com, stemparts.com, go to knmarms.com. We got Ken here tonight, but go to hankstrange.com, sign up for the email list. That's how you find out everything about us, if we get kicked off, what other platforms we're on, how you can support us, how you can get our merch. Check it out right here. Hold on, let me see. I'll go full screen on me for a sec. Boom! Patches. We got the this is the broadcast patches out there, and we got this is what I call my super suit. You know, this is like the Marvel version of Hank Strange with a laser blaster. You can get these at
Nice.
hankstrange.com, you know, and you help support the channel. If you want to get the t-shirts, check that out. That's at Ballistic Inc. And you can go to the Hank Strange store, Ballistic Inc. We've got the Gun Nerds shirts and all that going up there. So go there. That's how to support us. Let me see. Let me get the gentleman back here. All right, you guys should know how to do this. Let's see the jazz hands, people. Come on, jazz hands. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 554. 554 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Our special guest tonight. Okay, so we got two guests. The special one is Walter. He's special in a zing wing kind of short bus kind of special.
Special K. Special K.
No, I don't mean that at all. And then of course we have Ken McAlister of K&M Arms joining us. There he goes. There goes Ken. And Ken has been with us since episode 15.
Yeah.
It's written over here. When he had these. Do you remember that, Walter? He had these big, massive. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if Walter was on that episode.
I don't know. I remember something about it.
Ken had these humongous headphones on. He looked like he was in Star Wars.
Right.
Well, speaking
I bet you still have those, Ken.
I do.
Yes. Those were awesome. What are you up to, Walt?
I gotta put some headphones on.
Oh, you gotta put your headphones on. Okay. Also, Ken, you were in episode 223.
223.
223. So we've done some episodes. We've talked about Bullpups. Of course, you're the owner of K&M Arms. How are you, sir? We haven't. I guess it's been about a year, right?
Yeah, at least a year. It's been a while.
Oh, okay.
Things are going good. We're just rocking and rolling over here.
All right. Now you're in Arizona, so let us know what's going on in Arizona with this the Rona, the COVID-19. How's it treating you guys?
Hey, just fine. It's today it's going to be like 105, so we're just going to kill it off.
Yeah.
It's going to die. It's not going to exist anymore in Arizona. It's
Right.
after this weekend,
Over.
boom, we're done. That's right, over.
Yeah, well, that sun is the best kind of bleach, I guess.
Oh,
That's
don't
right.
get me started with that preaching. You know, make the devil the heat.
Burn it up.
Burn it up.
Yeah, I don't know if you know. Did you see that that mega church preacher that there's a viral video of him basically doing a seance or something like that on the COVID-19?
No, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure Walter can reenact it.
Yeah.
Probably could. Yeah.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Someone turned it. You know how when you sometimes, I guess it's like a badge of honor on the internet when you do some kind of speech or something, and someone out there takes it and chops it up into a rap song or R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a version of that. But this is the particular preacher. I can't remember his name right now. Someone probably does and has the link. But this is the guy who had the big. He had like multiple mega jets. I don't know if you. I don't know if Ken. I don't know if you keep track of any of this kind of stuff.
No,
You know.
I don't. I'm too busy working.
Yeah. I always say we should do the Church of the Gun around here, and then we should also get big mega jets and all kinds of guns and stuff like that. But we're a church, so we don't pay taxes, I guess. Although
There you
that
go.
would be illegal to do it for that reason. We'll do it because we believe in the Second Amendment.
They're the Church of the Second Amendment.
Yeah. So we'll do that. You know, what part of Arizona are you in? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so I'm in Chandler. Chandler's just south of Phoenix, about
Okay.
25 miles or so from the airport in Phoenix. So
Okay.
it's really close. The Phoenix area is really small. I mean, you can travel from one end of the valley to the other in about an hour, 15 minutes. So,
Mhm.
it's not that big of an area
Yeah.
as far as population goes.
Okay. And when that valley gets hot, it gets pretty hot though. I've been out there.
Yep, it
Yeah.
gets hot.
Yeah.
It does.
Right. Right. For some reason, if you go up into the mountains, it's nice and cool.
Oh yeah, you can just go north of here up to Payson, and it's always at least 10, 12 degrees
Yeah.
cooler
Yeah.
up there. So when it's 100 here, it's 90 there, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
Or
Once,
when it's 115 here and it's only 100 there, it's really nice.
yeah. One summer, Lola decided, you know what I'm going to do for the summer? I'm going to go to Arizona, stay in Phoenix. And I was like, never again.
Yeah, you stayed in like a little resort area. I had found out
Hmm.
at the very end of your stay that you were here and that you didn't
Oh.
call me.
Uh-oh.
But it was hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hot, so I understand.
Yeah, I think we stayed there so we can go to the Grand Canyon. So, and up at the Grand Canyon, it was nice, but in Phoenix, it was horrible.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I was like,
It
how do
gets-
people survive here in the summertime? I thought Florida was it was dry, but freaking hot.
Yep. It's very hot. I mean,
Yeah.
my dad says that it's the dry heat, the kind they roast chickens in.
Right, exactly. That's pretty much what
So,
that's pretty much what I felt like. So,
yep.
so are you guys is Phoenix heavily affected by the coronavirus?
No, not really. There aren't too many cases. I'm sure that come May 1st, the governor is going to open things back up, and we're going to go through the 3-step phase process, and we'll be rocking and rolling. And by that time, it's going to be so hot here that nothing survives outside anyway. So
Yeah.
so you're good.
Right. So, have people been good in your area, or are people just out like normal? What's the traffic looking like? Because here where I live, I don't think people are paying any attention to any lockdown or restrictions.
So it all depends. There's a lot less traffic on the streets. I mean, the other day I went up into Phoenix to pick stuff up from Anodize, and I either would normally have to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning to go get it, or wait till traffic drives down. And I just left at 6:30 in the morning and drove right in, drove right back. So there's most people are telecommuting, working from home. But as far as grocery stores and all of that kind of stuff, it's business as usual. I mean, you can go to Home Depot and it's business as usual.
Okay, is there like waiting? You got to wait so only so many people can come in and all that.
Yeah, they're doing that, but I've never once waited in line to get in any kind of a store.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm one of the rebellion ones. I never wear a mask or wear gloves or do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Shame on you.
I know.
Shame. I
I
don't
know.
do I don't do it either. Shame on you. Yeah, I saw the vice president went to visit a hospital today, and they told him to wear a mask. He didn't. Everyone else was wearing one, so now they're all mad. Okay, whose life is he's taking his own? I guess. I mean, if everyone's wearing one, whatever.
Yeah, they say that. Oh well, you should wear it because you don't want to give it to somebody else. Well,
he's the vice president. I'm sure he has that special vaccine already. So,
yeah,
probably.
probably.
Yeah, the rumored vaccine of the elite.
Yeah,
The Illuminati scene. No.
I don't see a vaccine ever being developed for it. I mean, it's a virus. I mean, they can't even get a vaccine for the common cold and everything
it's
else.
mutating. It's mutating. I saw today they were talking about how there's different strains, multiple strains. So, I mean, look, it's called life, people. You know that weird thing called life? You can't actually stop it. So, someone wants to know, Brian Quick says, what's Ken's reaction when people say, yeah, but it's a dry heat?
Yep, it is a dry heat.
It is a dry heat.
It's just hot.
It will kill you dry.
But I would rather have this dry heat than have your heat there in Florida or in Maryland, out there on the
muggy, hot, sticky.
Yeah. That is nasty. That is nasty. I do not like that.
You can't. Your body can't. When it's so humid and you sweat, it doesn't evaporate. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys think's better? You think it's better dry heat at 115 degrees?
Yep.
Or humidity and 90 degrees?
I'll take the 115 any day.
Okay. All right. I would prefer 65 degrees all year long.
Yes.
And 0 humidity.
40% humidity.
But, unfortunately, wait, is there a place that has that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
San Diego. I mean, not San Diego. Yeah, say San Diego's pretty nice.
That's not part of America.
Well, if you don't mind the Mexicans and the liberals,
Yeah, I mean, the communism is what I like. I love Mexican people, Walter. Unlike you, we're not.
All right, let's
credit for Walter's.
The immigrants, the undocumented.
We're not taking any. That's everywhere, Walter. That's everywhere.
Some places closer to the border than.
Right. So, how is your toilet paper situation? I'm just trying to get all of this stuff settled so we can move on and talk about stuff. Did you guys run out of toilet paper?
No.
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 Okay.
And I've never stood in line to go get any either.
Okay. Do you buy your toilet paper in bulk or do you?
Costco.
Okay, so you, obviously bulk.
Yeah, Costco, and you have to be prepared. I mean, I'm not one of these per se preppers, but I have what I need, and lock me down for a couple months, and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, Babyface P. Shout out to Babyface P. I see he's there in the chat. He could have easily joined us. Babyface P says dry heat feels like putting your head in the oven. He said over, but I'm assuming he meant oven. So dry heat. Yeah. I'm not a fan of dry heat.
Just a little for anybody that's been paying attention to the news. Toilet paper is now not the thing that's going to be in short supply. Meat's going to be in short supply.
In some places.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not worried about meat.
What do you mean? Why not?
Why? Because when I look out my window, I see meat walking around in these packages called cows.
You ain't going to kill those goats.
No, not the goats. No, not the
squirrels.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started on squirrels. The squirrels this year are huge. Well, I've never seen squirrels this big in my life. There's squirrels the size of freaking big cats.
You can eat them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That is true.
Just,
but I see cows. When I look out my window, I see cows. There's cows out there, Walter. You see the cows out?
Oh, I didn't know that. But you shoot that.
They're not my
cow,
cows.
he's gonna
I'll be done for. Yeah. Those basically where I live, those people that live around me have firepower superiority. Believe it or not.
Right.
It's the country. They have been saving guns since 18 something. So.
But that's
meat.
That's
there's
the
a meat
story
issue.
Now
there's
about
a meat issue. Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
There will be. It's gonna be one of the next things on the list that people are starting to hoard. But it's ridiculous. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Hank. Is my neighbor behind me? He's got 4 cows, and they're big cows too. These are not these little, milking cows.
Yeah.
These are big Angus cows.
Yeah.
If worse comes to worse, I can see
the marbled meat
it up
right
and
now.
hang it up.
Yeah. Well, so the problem with meat that's going on, right, Walter, is that it's not really that we don't have cows in America.
Well, there's plenty. There's plenty.
Yeah, we got cows. Even though
It's
some
the
people,
processing.
yeah,
The
some
processing.
environmentalists want to get rid of the cows. You know that, to save the planet, green
The
gases,
corporate,
etc.
the corporate processing.
Yeah, well, because people, I think there's people in the meat plants that are getting sick, right? So a lot of meat plants are shutting down.
200-300 at one place.
Yeah, so the meat plants are shutting down.
And they've got things set up legally where it's hard for little guys to do that, process meat and stuff, and farmers can't do their own butchering and all this stuff and sell stuff. It's a racket. They set the racket up pretty good. It's like alcohol. Alcohol's a racket too.
Yeah.
And,
But does it? But so are you guys going out there and buying all the meat you can get your hands on?
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything different.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to stock up on a little bit. I got a freezer just in case. It's going to get eaten anyways.
Yeah. If you got a big freezer, but don't go buy a bunch of meat and then have it spoil because you really can't eat that much meat if you can't.
Right.
If you can't.
I've got a generator and it ain't going to spoil.
Yeah. A lot of this depends on where you are. Like, I don't really think so. First of all, I know this is Florida and not Texas. But I remember, do you remember, was it the 80s or 90s that the beef, it's what's for dinner people sued Oprah? Was that the 90s?
I don't know.
Do you remember when somehow Oprah said something about beef and then no one remembers that? Okay.
No.
That's the first time
I don't think Oprah's missed a single steak in her life.
I think she was eating. I don't know how she got on the bad side of the beef guys. But that's the first time I ever heard that slogan, beef, it's what's for dinner, outside of a TV commercial. Because, that obviously was the thing that the beef industry was doing. But where I live, that is like beef, it's what's for dinner territory.
Oh, hell yeah. Florida's used to be the third largest producer. I talked to someone the other day at the fair, when we were at the fair, state fair, and she said it's not anymore, not so much that because of subdivisions, basically.
Yeah. I think Texas is number one, right? Is Texas number one for beef?
I would think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Does Arizona have a lot of beef?
There's a handful of dairy farms, around where I live, but most of them are going away because of housing.
Yeah. Damn. This housing thing.
I know.
Taking away all the farms.
Damn people from California.
No one wants to live on when I talk to a lot of the farmers around where I live, they say that their kids don't want the farm life either. That's another problem. Yeah.
You have to work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So
there's risk.
Yeah. A lot of kids are like, hey, I'm not going to do this farm life out here, slaving on the farm. I'm gonna go live in the big city, which is too bad. I think the farm life is awesome. If I wasn't doing the gun life, I'd probably be doing the farm life. Although I think I would be worse at the farm life than the gun life.
You'd have to work. You'd have to meet manual.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm that dude that will fall into the combine accidentally. Probably I'll wait until technology gets good enough where I could sit in my living room and just remote control all the farming things, have drones and stuff go out there and do everything. But to me, farms are awesome. Until you have to live on there. Like I've seen some of these, like the place where I live, I'm telling you, it's for real cow farms out there. They've got thousands of acres of just cows, and you can literally smell. Yeah, you can smell the methane in the morning.
Smells like dinner.
Yeah, you drive around, you could literally smell it. So yeah, it's tough work. So let me see here. We got a bunch of other people coming in. Shout out to Ghost Tactical, I see out there. All right, so there we go. The beef situation in America. Please don't get crazy and buy up all the beef.
It's not just beef. It's across the board. It's chickens, pork, everything, because the processing plants, a lot of them are closed. So it's going to get squared away, and they're going to get it all figured out eventually. But there'll be could be a little short-term
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
We'll
probably
be
will.
fine here.
I'm just,
Yeah. Yeah. As usual, we should have. So I don't. We'll have to look it up and see how much beef is coming from other places. But it's here. It's here. We just got to clean up clean up the plants and stuff like that. So I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get into those plants that have been shut down for whatever reason. Clean them up. Maybe they'll use, I don't know, ultraviolet rays.
I'm sure they already do.
Bleach and stuff like that.
They already do all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not the cleanliness is the problem. It's the two-legged rats that's their problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I never heard that term before, Walter.
Yeah.
Two-legged rats? You never heard me say that before?
No. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So, let's see. Let's get into some stuff here. All right, let's get into some different things. Both of you guys are manufacturers and all that. I think, Walter, you said that like demand has bumped up a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're selling stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Ken? How's it going in Arizona? You guys selling more things? What's the deal?
Yeah, we're continually getting orders. It really hasn't stopped much for us. It's been steady, a little bit of an uptick, but most people are wanting to buy like right now, and so they're wanting that instant gratification where we're back ordered, and so they're going to have to wait for it. So, but all the stores, the local stores, they're all sold out of firearms. The ammo is scarce. People went crazy, and so I've seen an uptick in first time buyers. Cause see, I also will do transfers, for people. So a lot of first time gun buyers, lots of first timers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what do you think about that? Either one of you guys could chime in here on this. What do you all think about the first-time gun buyers out there?
Everybody had their first time at one time. Yeah. So think about your first time when you went and bought a gun. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this is cool. Right. Even though mine was a single barrel shotgun. I did that the day I turned 18, actually.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So that's, the first firearm that I bought was a Glock 26, but I had been around firearms, really my whole life. So it wasn't like, it was just my first purchase is what it was.
My dad had a whole house full of guns, so
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, these are people that are coming in that have never touched a firearm, have never owned a firearm, have never shot a firearm, and I spend some extra time with them and say, okay, here's a little bit about it, but you really need to go to a local shooting range and get some training and figure out what to do, because if you don't, if you're using it for home protection, you're not going to have any idea how to use it. You're going to end up hurting somebody, so you need to go get some training. Mm-hmm. And so I point them in the direction to go get training.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Walt? You want to chime in there?
Not so much on that part, because most of the time they're in and out really quick. I mean, if the background checks are going fast, for a while the background checks were taking 6 hours here in Florida. So there was no quickie. They had to come in and fill it out and come back later and pick it up. But it's slowed down now. So the big rush is over as far as the guns go.
Yeah.
All the credit cards have been, well, no, we got the Obama, not the Obama money.
Walter, come on, get
we
credit.
Got the Trump money.
Yeah.
Well, the Obama money was cell phones. That's a whole different thing. But no, the Trump money, we're selling. I mean, we're making stocks for different guns, for HKs and Streebogs and CZs, and we're selling that stuff as fast as we put it together and get it out the door. Plus, the Sten parts has been pretty busy selling the bits and pieces for machine guns. We're still doing 50 cal stuff. I got a list of things I got to make this week. I've been getting poked to start welding. But yeah, no, it's nothing like a Newtown shooting, post Newtown shooting or anything like that. But or any of those other scares during the Obama reign. But yeah, we're definitely since the Trump money started getting released, things have we were busy already, and things have picked up even more. So
Okay. By the way, speaking of that, I forgot to give Franklin Armory credit for sponsoring the podcast tonight. So shout out to the Franklin Armory guys. I got the hat on. We got the thing there, but I completely forgot about that. So shout out to them for that. Also, folks out there, smash the thumbs ups. Okay, we appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. Smash the thumbs ups. We'll get to some questions and stuff like that from the folks out there. So there's all these new gun people coming on board. I think that let me see. What can we say? We've had like steady gun sales for it's more than 2 years, I think. At this point, might be 3 years or something.
Well, there was a lull, as soon after Trump, took office. The industry took a big dive. It didn't really affect me because I'm, not in the AR-15 market and whatnot, but that whole market took a total dump. So
the AR-15, but the handgun market was still ticking up because when we were looking at numbers were still going up. But yes, AR-15s were over-manufactured.
And everybody was on the Hillary plan.
Yep.
And the Hillary plan went belly up, thank God. And then, or whoever you want to thank, whoever your guy is, or girl. But and then they were all overproducing. So, as a result of that, the consumer that was a bonus for the consumer because they got to consume as much as they want for a third of the price. Where an regular AR-15 used to cost $650, $700, $800. Now they were
entry level
$350. So so if you didn't buy then, you were crazy. So
and people were buying. It's interesting what's happening now. Both of you guys that we have on tonight, both of you are kind of. How do you guys categorize yourself? I don't want to insult anyone, but I would say cottage industry or like your smaller manufacturers.
I would say niche market.
Okay.
We're kind of doing, each of us are doing our own little thing, which is specializing in, little niche things here and there or different platforms.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Walt.
And that's what you need to do because if you're trying to make it selling Glocks, now Glocks, but our AR-15s, they couldn't sell an AR-15 if their life depended on it. So these gun shops, I heard, and the gun shops couldn't compete with the online stuff. When Palmetto State was just taking the wheelbarrows and dumping them into the interweb, there was no way for the local guys to compete with that because they can't sell an AR-15 for $350. There's no money in it.
Yep.
So
Well,
and Palmetto's prices are still low. I mean,
they've
creeped up a little.
Everybody's creeping up a little bit because they need to. They have to. I noticed that things are not as cheap, but they're still inexpensive.
Well, material. Right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ken.
The way that you can even get it cheaper is to buy either Palmetto sells a parts kit. And you can, put it together, or you can buy a complete lower and a complete upper, and you're saving yourself some money there too.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Their price. So I know I get. This is a little bit of an aside, right? Because obviously Palmetto State Armory is a bigger company than you guys, but from when I went to see them in Jacksonville, the amount of materials they buy just for that place, I think they said like anywhere from $1 million to $5 million worth of materials every week. Yeah. Was it? I can't remember. Was it week or month?
I think it's a month.
Maybe it was a month.
It's got to be a month.
Yeah, maybe it's a month. But
so correct that a little bit.
So the thing is, I know you guys are not buying that level of material, right? But if you're buying materials on that level, prices are going to affect you, obviously. So you're going to have to tick up your prices a little bit. Because I know there's people out there like, PSA is price gouging and everything that's going on. If materials are more expensive, that has to be reflected in the prices. I don't see them like doubling or tripling the price of anything. Things have gone up, obviously. But
they're not doing the cheaper than dirt stuff. I can tell you that.
No.
Now 1,000 rounds of 9mm is $300. So that's 3 times basically three
And that's
times.
range ammo.
Well, no.
That's range ammo, right?
Yeah, 330, whatever it is. It's 2.5 times what it was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's supply and demand. That's what it is.
And I have no idea how they're able to sell an AR for $350, $400, really even $500. I mean, it's crazy how they're not making hardly any money doing that. Well, they're making it up. Volume is all that they're doing.
Quantity.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is volume. But one of the things like I learned from visiting them, there's certain things that they could do. So let's say, for example, some other company, not even the size of you guys, right? Because I think it would be interesting to talk about how long it takes you all to build a gun. But let's say a rifle takes about an hour to put together. Their production level is at the point where they can make 2 or 3 guns in that hour. I'm just, trying to put it to you guys that way. So if they're able to make more guns in the same time that everyone else is making guns, that kind of helps them, right? With increase the volume and all that kind of stuff. And that's how they can outsell people. And then also they can switch production. I think one of the things that happened with a lot of companies is they went into making AR-15s. They made that alone, and then when the market got oversaturated, not even the distributors wanted them, versus like PSA can, if they see that everyone's buying an AKV, let's say, right? They can actually switch over, and they've come on air here to talk about this. They could switch over to making that AKV over everything else, and they can get a ton of those out while the demand is on, and then they could turn it off the next day.
Right.
Yeah. So how does that work for you all, being a smaller niche market, guys?
Not so much.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, I mean,
no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole factory full of people working either. So,
yeah.
They have to sell things. They have to move product. If they decided tomorrow their gun's $1,000, you might as well lock the doors and kick everybody out because they wouldn't sell anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because people are so used to getting their stuff at that price range or that thing that they won't buy it. They won't buy it. Right,
Yeah.
right. They'll know. But they have to move the product. So that's when they were selling stuff so cheap, they didn't have any choice. They have to sell it, or they'll end up, if they're making that much stuff, they'll end up with piles of stuff.
That's just how the system works. I see All Thumbs saying every time I'm on the PSA site, what I want is always sold out. That's a good thing for them. I know it's a bad thing for you.
No,
it's a good thing for them because they don't want to have stock sitting there.
They're not making badges. They're not making 5,000 of one. They're going to make 500 of one, then make the other 500 of one, and then make the other 500 of one. Yeah. And those and boom, big demand is being backlogged is not a bad thing.
No.
Right.
No.
And if you got 100 gun backlog, the people that want your stuff, life is good. Life is really good. Long as you're getting the stuff out to feed that, and they don't get on the interweb and start ragging on you too much. Life is great.
Yeah, and then lots of those guys get on the email list in the minute they get that thing. This is why it's sold out. Everyone's on the email list. So the minute your gun you're waiting for is available.
That's right.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Out of there. Yeah. We've all done it. Right.
Yeah.
So and because it's supply and demand, and and it's also if we're talking PSA and some of these large companies and organizations, they have lots of bills that they got to pay. They have lots of people that they're employing. Okay, they have all this equipment that they've spent capital money on, and this and that. They have to, even if they're breaking even sometimes on parts, they're doing that just to keep everything rolling and keeping their bills paid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas I don't have to do that. Everything that I have is all owned. So I don't have to. If I had to close the door for a month, it'll hurt me, but I'm not going to lose anything because I have not stretched myself so thin and so far that I have to do this every day in and out, and I have to make this amount in order to keep open. I don't have any of that, so I don't have to worry about going under or going belly up.
That's that's one of the benefits, I guess, of being a smaller ship, right? Versus the bigger ship.
Well, it is if you don't have a lot of debt. If you're a small ship and you have a lot of debt, then
you big trouble.
It's even faster when it happens.
Yeah,
you're done. And we've seen small companies come to the market with firearms, and then they have problems and issues, and then boom, next thing you know, they're belly up and their firearms.
There's an auction notice in the mail.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
It happens. That's how you stay afloat. And like you were saying about the bills, I remember. So like PSA, for example, they've got over 500 CNC machines. Okay. Combined. Yeah, the Jacksonville one, they said they had about 250 there. I'm guessing in Carolina they've got another 250. Imagine the bill on that.
I know.
You have to have people that do nothing but maintain the machines.
Yeah, people who run the machines, they feed them. Yeah.
Aside from the button pusher, you got somebody that's got to go around and make sure they got all the coolant, the oil, the ones that's broken, get them fixed. It's a job.
It's a big undertaking. Yeah.
And that's not just one person either. No, when you have that big of a facility, it's several people doing that.
Yeah. There's a whole department probably there on site. Whereas you guys, being smaller manufacturers, either it's you or some dude that comes in.
Hey, the bathroom's dirty. Let's go clean the toilet.
Yeah. Let's obviously when we have PSA on, we could talk about, the big things. Tell us, like, what do both of you think, what are the pluses and the minuses of being a small niche market part of the firearms industry, the good and the bad of it? For folks out there who are probably watching this thinking, like the dudes out there like Babyface P, who his dream, right? He tells us that all the time one day, is to do what you are doing, what you're doing, Ken, what you're doing, Walter. What's the pluses and minuses of this?
Well, if you have employees, you got to kind of look out for those people. When I didn't have any employees, and it was just me and my significant other, it was a lot easier, but then again, I didn't make as much money either. But when I had 5 or 6 people working, right now I don't have 5 or 6 people working. But when I did, you got to keep them busy, because them standing around doing nothing or following you around looking for work, that means I can't get anything done. So yeah, it's got its pluses and minuses. If I had 100 employees, I would probably have somebody running the shop.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, your employees, Walter, are predominantly your own family.
Yeah. Right now, yes. Right now, it's predominantly slave. It's not slave labor.
Slave labor.
Yeah. So you shout at your bookkeeper, you might not get no nookie.
I did again.
I don't shout at the bookkeeper. Well, every once in a while we shout at each other.
Yeah. You treat Spencer. You said button pushers. You treat Spencer bad, Spencer will come in there and throw your food down on the ground.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I don't think he'd do that, but yeah. So right now I have one non-family member employee actually. So for a while I had three or four. But yeah, you got to keep everybody busy, whether they're family or not. Got to keep everybody focused, which is even hard for me to do.
Oh yeah.
Because after you've done it for a while, at least in my opinion, I've been doing this for a while now. It's very easy to go, wow, let's go do something else.
Yeah, it's easy to get distracted by mini bikes or something like that. I'm just thinking of something random right now.
Right, exactly. Well, exactly, yeah. Or you walk outside and it's a nice day and it's like, man, I sure like to be doing something else.
How is that for you, Ken? Do you have employees?
Pluses and minuses with, I think with starting a business is that you're working all the time. So you don't get a vacation, you don't get a break. You're working more than 10, 12 hours a day. It's work. And when I go, but people say, well, you can take time off anytime that you want. Yeah, sure I can. But when I don't. So when I do go on vacation, which is rare, but when we do go someplace, I'm not getting a paycheck. There's no money coming in because there's nothing being done going out, kind of a thing. You have
I can relate to that. It's like
having
having YouTube, being a YouTube person. You don't make content and stuff like that, you're not doing anything.
Right. You have to. Yeah.
Correct.
When I was busier, with my employees, I could go away, and things will still get done. But sometimes things are not getting done to their fullest potential. They're not there. So.
Correct. Yeah. So that's I would not take back any of the stuff that I've done when I left my job to focus on this and do this full time. I would never go back. If I had a choice to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat. But I would have done it probably 10 years sooner.
Interesting.
So,
you agree with that, Walt?
I started my journey into making things, started making the stent parts and the pieces and all that stuff. I started doing that like in '99, and that's because I saw what somebody else had bought, and I go, "How much did you pay for that?" And it goes, "Oh, I paid $100 for that." And I figured out I can get that made for probably, I don't know, $8 or $10, $12, and sell it for $100. That's pretty good.
Right.
So I figured I started doing that, and from then on, it was like, I made more money working and selling my stuff at home than I did in my job at the time. And then Peggy was working at a school being a bookkeeper. I'm like saying, no more of that crap. You need, because you're just wasting your time. You can be at home running the books and take care of stuff there, and fill in orders, and you can make sometimes $600-700 a day.
Yeah,
you make that.
Yeah. The flip side of it, like Ken is saying, is that you are your own boss. Yeah, you have to be responsible for yourself. So if you take it easy, then the business goes down. Unlike when you work for someone else, as you said, when people are working for you, if you're not there cracking a whip over them, they're like, I'm gonna chill out a little bit. But you're a good boss. You're a good boss.
It's not like always cracking a whip. It's just making sure that that what needs to be done is getting done, and it's and doing
and then it's getting done right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That too, or if something happens, if something stops working, then you have to jump into CNC repairman mode and try to figure it out and get the machine back up and going so that things keep being made, and just little things like that. But what I was going to say was everybody's not suited to be the boss or their own boss. Everybody. Some people are better off going to a job and working because they don't have the first thing, maybe they don't have the vision, or they don't have the self motivation to do it on their own, or they just don't want to.
Yeah.
And I get.
Well, they don't have the focus. Peggy's reminding us that she has to keep you focused.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah. She's in the chat.
I know. I saw that. But there's all aside from, you just have to have that the drive or the want to do it too. When I was growing up, I always saw people that had more stuff, and a lot of times they were doing their own thing. There are people that have decent jobs and make decent money, but the people that always had a little bit more or had the cool stuff were always had their own business and things like that. So it's like, man,
I agree with you. I agree with what you just said, even though I'm teasing you. It's your own personal philosophy, right? If you're the kind of person that is self-motivated and you know how to drag yourself up by your bootstraps, you can really benefit. But if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, I'm my own boss, yeah, today I'm not working, then you're pretty much done, right?
Well, when you have orders to fill and you have people waiting for stuff, even though in the beginning I did take deposits on stuff, and everybody that I got money from got their stuff. But I don't do that now, and I don't take people's money because I don't want to hear their crap, to be honest with you. I mean, when somebody calls, if they start bitching at me about not having something, my response is, did I take any of your money? I don't owe you a damn thing. And if you're just patient, you will get your stuff. Everybody gets their stuff.
Right. Or they can go somewhere else.
Right. And I had a customer on the phone that was complaining about something wasn't fitting right the other day. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just send your money back. I'll give you money back, because some folks you're never going to satisfy, no matter what you do or how high you jump, how much you talk nice to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to be happy. So anyways, but that's another subject. But
yeah.
So yeah, to do the business thing, you just need to. It's not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I have friends that don't do it, and they go, oh yeah, you're the rich guy or whatever. It's like, I'm not the rich guy. I'm just a guy that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're self-employed.
For sure.
You're self-employed,
right,
which is his own wealth. So speak to this, Ken. One of the things I think, being a small business, something like what Walter was just talking about, if you're talking about PSA and there's problems and people send things back, or you've got to that's like one thing for a big company, but as a small company, that could pretty much hurt, right?
Oh, it can, and that's why you have to make sure that it's good going out, so that your returns are minimal. And people having issues and having to do tech support is minimal, and so that's what you have to do as a small business is make sure that things are right when they go out the door.
Yeah, it's like, well, for example, it's a stock, like a stock to go in the back of an HK, stock to go in the back of a gun with a sheet metal receiver, stock to go in the back of a gun that no two of them are hardly the same, because they're bent out of sheet metal. So you go to put it on the back. Some guys go right in. The pin goes right in. The stock slides back and forth. It's beautiful. Other ones go to put it on, and it like goes halfway in and binds. And it's like, well, some guys are like, I'll figure it out. No big deal. And other guys, like my wife talked to a guy today that didn't know what a QD mount was.
Oh, for shame! Wait, hold on a second. Did he work for Caltech?
And he has an HK. He has an HK, not a clone.
Walter missed that. Walter missed that. Yeah. I said, did the guy work for Caltech? Per chance.
Well, I don't know. It's,
just teasing Caltech people.
Yeah. So she had to explain it, because he was complaining. Well, I put the stock on. Now I don't have a sling loop. And Peggy's like, there's a QD mount there. A what?
Your guns come with QD mounts, of course. I forgot.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, fuck they do. Yeah. So that's the kind of things you deal with.
That's like space age technology, Walter. How can you expect people to know about that?
I don't know. I mean, my response would have been, go to Magpul's website and just type in QD. And
but
you'll
it happens.
see a world,
people don't know.
A whole new world will open up to you,
Yeah, people don't know about everything. There's no stupid questions.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, sure. Okay. No, the question, well, anyways, the guy that I told that to send it back was, there was an issue about we sell stocks with the tail hook brace on it, made by Gearhead Works. And Gearhead Works has a letter for their brace and yada yada yada. And he was questioning them. Well, you don't have a letter for your stock with the tail hook on. It's like, no, I don't.
You can also go look it up if you want.
He wasn't satisfied. He was not gonna.
Oh, he wanted the piece of paper?
Yes.
What is the likelihood of you having that piece of paper if something happened?
Well, whatever that would be.
Yeah,
he was not going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm not sending my stock to ATF to get an approval letter, because I've already went through that with a 50 cal, and it's not worth it.
It's not fun.
Yeah. And it doesn't come out the way. All you do is open a can of worms you don't want to open up. So I said, you know what? If you're not happy, I'll be more than happy to give you money back for the stock. And he says, okay, he's going to send it back. So
okay. Yeah, absolutely. So let me see. I'm trying to. There's a couple of different things here, but let me get this. I know there's a lot of comments. I would ask everyone to smash the thumbs ups out there. Armament and Axis says, Safety Harbor Firearms. So, if I buy a SHTF upper and complain enough, you will give me my money back. And then
yes.
I have. I'll be honest with you, I have done it a couple times. Because
this is not a way for you to get a free gun.
No, you're not going to get a free gun.
Walter will also want the gun back. Right, Walt?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah! You're not getting the gun. You don't get your money back unless they get the gun back. I mean, it don't work that way.
We are talking about the fact that these are small companies, so come on, let's not invent ways to.
That goes back to that thing. You're never, when somebody's got their mind up that they don't want it anymore, you're never going to make them happy, no matter what you do.
Yep.
No matter how nice you are to them, everything else. Just go ahead, return it to me. I'll give you money back. You go on your way, and I go on my way. If you don't, they're going to get on the internet, and every time, it'll be 5 years later, and they'll be still whining. Well, he didn't do what I wanted him to do, and he did like this, and he talked to me bad, and he hurt my feelings. And it's like, but it's easier just to, have a nice day.
Yeah. By the way, put Chris on the list. Don't sell him anything.
You can
put him on the list.
I would.
Yeah.
This goes with anything. Cars, motorcycles. There are some people that do not need to own a firearm of any sort, shape, or form.
Oh, for sure. But there's also people that are con artists. You know that, right? There's people that buy things and their whole plan is to get something for free and to complain, and then thinking you'll go, oh, okay, I'll give you your money back, and they get to, people try all kinds of things. You could do that. There's something in the universe called karma, though.
I sure hope so.
That's going to catch up to you.
I can think of a couple people. I want the karma to go real hard on.
Yeah, but don't practice. I wouldn't do this to a big company. And definitely doing it to a small company is just, in my opinion, evil, to try to get free stuff out of them, or try to leverage them to get stuff or whatever. That's not cool. From
my personal experience, there are some people that are known in other companies for returning things and making things go bad on purpose, and then trying to get something out of it. I know for sure. So I heard from another manufacturer that heard about something that happened to me, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we know who he is."
Oh, okay. So companies do keep lists of people who do all that. And the bigger companies, their customer service, they record everything in case you don't know.
Yeah.
And one of the benefits of dealing, what I'm trying to do here is cover what it is dealing with smaller manufacturers like yourselves. One of the benefits you get of that is when you have an issue, you call up, you're speaking to Walter at Safety Harbor Firearms, you're speaking to Ken at K&M Arms. You've got to respect that. So even these are mechanical things, and there may be issues, but these guys are this is everything to them. They've invested everything that they have into their companies, and this is how they feed and take care of their families. They're gonna take care of you. You don't be a dick about it.
I want you to be happy and be shooting. That's what I don't ever want to hear from you again. To be honest with you, happy customer you never hear from.
That's not true, because every once in a while I'll get an email from a customer, and it's like, okay, well, I'm getting an email from them. Oh
no,
what's wrong? And then I had this one guy go on this full long thing about the firearm was doing this, and then he got to the end and he says, "Oh, I'm just kidding. None of that happened." And, oh man, I wanted to reach through that monitor and just kind of strangle that guy, but it was all good at the end of the day.
Oh man,
but yeah,
I do get those. I mean, people will call like, "Oh man, I got your stock. I put it on. It fits great. Thanks. Boom. Keep up the good work." Boom. It's like, that's cool. Yeah.
I think most of the people out there are cool. Most people out there are human beings. And they realize what you're doing. They probably have small businesses themselves. They're not trying to, they may have some issue, but because you could talk to the guys here, you can get things worked out. I'm not saying the bigger companies don't have good customer service, but you could talk directly to the people that own the company.
Yeah, try calling Remington and talk to somebody that made the gun. Okay, right? Yeah. I don't think you're gonna get a receptionist.
I have no respect for Remington. I remember when the R51 came out and there were all those problems, and at the NRA show, I remember being there, and their engineers, people were coming up to them, and they're like, "What's up with all these problems with this gun?" And their people in the booth were telling people, "Oh, we designed all that stuff for your safety. That's for your own good. That's why we did that. You don't want a gun that doesn't do..." And I was like, are these people insane? And at that same NRA show, they discontinued the gun.
Right?
So that's where you lose me. One of the things I think about dealing with a small, first of all, you buy the person. And a lot of times big companies you don't see the people. I think some big companies do a good job of getting out there in front of their customers and showing actual individuals who work there and showing that they care about that. But definitely with a small company, you see the people at that company. That's what I like about like obviously, Ken, I like the fact, when we put it to full screen here, everyone's teasing me that I'm jealous of you. Of course.
Yeah, of course. Look at it. Look at that.
But it's not just that.
Don't touch them.
Don't.
No, I'm not touching them. But that's just a wall of goodness right there.
Yeah,
right?
That's America.
Freedom.
Yeah, but it's
bullpup heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not just the guns, Ken. I think it's like it's you as a person that I identify with and go, this is a good dude. This is a real human being. He's a gun nerd. He's into this stuff. I could learn stuff from him. All of that. You're just as passionate, I'm sure, and excited as Walter is when it comes to guns, when new stuff. Walter does this all the time. Other people make guns, and Walter gets excited. He's like, "Oh my god, I gotta buy this thing."
I just found the LCP 22 the other day that Ruger makes, and I was like, nobody told me they're making a 22 LTP.
Yeah.
I was like, I started looking to where I could buy one.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ken's wall back here. Obviously, we can see the M17S, but we can see lots of things here. Let's see. I see a C33, the Caltech.
Yeah, the CP33.
Yeah. Don't
buy a P90.
Yeah.
Yep. PS90. I make a little charging handle.
Keep
for
your
the
hands
PS90.
to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself.
I'm not touching it. I'm just, I make a charging handle for that. I'm.
Oh, you do. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yep. I'm making. I do a spring for the PS90. The CP33. I'm looking at building a part for that.
Yeah. That's a bullpup kit on the 22. I think that's a Ruger at the up top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a Ruger 1022 with a bull barrel in it. I just got that back recently from Paint. From my local paint guys, We Plead the Second. I take all my stuff to We Plead the Second for paint. They are an awesome. I'll give them a little plug. They're an awesome company. If you never need anything Cerakoted, or laser etched or laser engraved, they do a knockdown drag out job. They're a good group of guys over there that are running that show.
Oh, okay. By the way, Ken, there's someone here that says the name is Claren McAlister. And they say, you're right, Ken is a good dude. I've known him my whole life.
Yeah, that's my brother.
It's a plant.
Yeah, that's a plant. That's a younger brother.
Okay, shout out to the McAlister the younger.
Yeah, but he lives in the commie state of California.
Yeah,
I know. Oh,
sorry for you.
Yeah, I know. So there goes a knock on him right there.
Yeah, poor guy. Yeah.
But he lives at the beach. Lives down in San Clemente near. He's got a nice house down there. Lives on the beach, and they banned him from the beach during the COVID, and so he couldn't go to the beach, so he was bummed out.
Try banning me from a beach that's right outside my door.
Right? I know.
Good luck with that. Sure. So, you know what? People always ask, this is probably a little bit of a sidetrack, but people always say, how come people in California just don't move? There's reasons.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, it's not so easy, right? Like, you live somewhere beautiful, most of your family is there, there's all kinds of things. Go ahead, Ken.
Yep. So I moved. I was born and raised there. Grew up in Altadena, which is right there by Pasadena, and grew up there my whole life. Almost all my family is still there. And 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, I got out of Dodge, picked up the business, and moved, and we're out of there.
Okay, 2015.
No, 15 years
15
ago.
Years ago. Okay, sorry, 15 years ago. Okay, wow.
So like 2000.
Oh, okay. Are a lot of the McAlisters still in California?
Yeah, everybody except for my sister. I have a sister that lives in Minnesota, but the rest of
So you and your sister are the smarter McAlisters, but no. Okay, I'm just starting trouble now.
Yeah, you are starting trouble, but they're, so I still have 2 brothers and 2 sisters that are living there, and my mom and dad are still there. And but yeah, I won't ever live there again. No way.
Yeah, California is beautiful though. Like when I've been there, I've always thought, wow, this place is beautiful. It's unfortunate what's happening. It's not the state, it's not the soil, it's the freaking people.
It's the leftists.
Yeah, it's the socialists over there that are really just destroying, a beautiful part of America.
Like I say, things are cyclic, and hopefully the cycle will turn, and there'll be a reckoning, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem with California is there's just so many people. I mean, when I was living out there, in order to have a house of any kind of size and, being able to be in an area where that was, nice enough to have my kids go to school and whatnot, it was, I was driving 40 miles one way to work, and it was taking me 2.5 hours to get to work.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched the show. There was a show, like a documentary type thing about that, where people, in order to afford to be able to live in a house, they had to live 2 or 3 hours from their job.
Yeah.
So they spent 5-6 hours a day going back and forth to work, come home, sleep, do that constantly.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that goes back to also the political stuff there, not letting people, like in some areas they don't let them build any homes. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Let me take a couple of things here. Kathleen Music Lover wants to know if Franklin is in Florida. No, Franklin Armory is in Nevada.
Yeah. They
were in California. They were in California.
They were,
yeah. And some of them still do live in California because they have big families over there. But the company moved from California to Nevada. Unfortunately, a lot of socialists are also moving from California to Nevada, and therefore starting the ruination of the great
like
state.
Florida's the same way. These people, they come down. There's no taxes in Florida, no income tax. So they come down here because the cheap bastards don't want to pay any taxes. From New York and from Maryland and all these places up there where they tax them to hell, but they don't want to be free. They want to be New Yorkers in Florida.
Yeah, and that's just like people who come here from other countries, like myself.
Yeah, but it's worse with them because people come from other countries. They come here sometimes to be free, but the ones from New York are already free. They just don't know how to be really.
How the hell are you free in New York? Yeah,
they don't know how to be really free.
Yeah, you're not really free in New York.
Well, you can leave New York.
It's the same kind of thing, though. There's lots of people in New York that can't get out just because of that whole situation of
families and businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
They lose their job. So
yeah. Hold on. There was what was this? There's a bunch of questions here. There's one I wanted to hit. Oh, SoCal Gunner says, he's in California. He says, I want out of California. Who wants to sponsor me? Walt, Hank, Ken. Listen.
You're going to work like an indentured slave?
Yeah.
I've got a chicken coop in the backyard now.
10 years of forced labor on your ass.
Oh man, I know it's tough. It's tough to be under situations like that. It's unfortunate what's happening. I think in America, that's in a lot of ways getting worse and worse. Florida, a lot of people left places and came to Florida, like you were saying, Walter, because they were looking for a better life, and it's getting more and more difficult, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And they like the warm weather, Yeah. I like it. I hear these people I like it so hot. I like it hot. But they only stay here for a month or 2 weeks and they go back home. They don't stay here when it's hot for 6 months and straight.
It's only hot outside. If you're in your house, unless you don't have electricity, it's this magical thing the Egyptians invented called air conditioning.
Right.
There would be no people in Arizona or Florida if it wasn't for
air conditioning. There would still be people.
I don't know. There were people here before there was air conditioning.
Yeah. They'd just be suffering.
It was still, that's right. It was still hot, but if it wasn't for air conditioning, there's no way
you wouldn't do much. You wouldn't do much.
Right. Well, yeah.
You'll work at night.
I mean, when we moved to Florida, our house we moved into didn't have air conditioning through the whole house. It had it in my parents' bedroom. Mm-hmm. That was it. So, but the houses were designed different too. They weren't built like they are now.
So a long time ago, people didn't before this magical thing of air conditioning came around. People didn't know what they didn't have. Well, I mean, I remember living in Nigeria. There was no air conditioning. Wait, hold on. My dad had an air conditioning in his window in his study, right? My dad was a professor at a university, so I guess he somehow is the only person that was special enough in the house to have air conditioning in his study. That was it. The rest of the house had no air conditioning.
Too bad, so sad. Open the windows up. Turn the fan on.
Yeah, open the windows, the fan. My mother said, go outside.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's what you need to do. Yep. Go outside.
Yeah.
But that's before we had air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, the house that I grew up in, my parents' house, it still doesn't have air conditioning in it. It's in California, but it's not near the beach. They still have 100 degree, 105 sometimes, weather there, and it's just hot.
Yeah. In the South, do you just drink a lot of iced tea?
I guess I don't do that, but
yeah. John Parsons wants to know if your shop is air conditioned, Ken.
Yes. Yes.
And that
it has to be.
Yeah, that might seem like,
but you'll be surprised. There are some machine shops here in Arizona that just run swamp coolers. They don't air condition it because during the summer my electric bill will be $400 or $500 a month.
Yeah. Walt, I think you only have air conditioning in certain parts of your shop, right?
Yeah, there's air conditioning in the front. There's air conditioning in the assembly room there, and then over where in the office area where Peggy's at, that's all air conditioned.
Where the majority of the work gets done.
Yeah, where the slave labor takes place, it's not air conditioned.
No, I'm full AC in my entire shop.
The next shop will be full. Yeah. From front to back, top to bottom.
It better be. It better be. And then there needs to be a Hank Strange office in there specifically.
With a bed?
Yeah. And internet.
Well, we have pretty good internet, so you'd be at home.
That's all I need. That's all I need. So the range says, Hank, why does iced tea taste so good when I'm in Florida and not here west of Chicago? Huh. You want to answer that, Walter? I don't know.
I don't drink iced tea, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, first of all, because you're probably it's so hot and humid.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's probably a lot of sugar in it.
I always get a chuckle. The Northeast, Chicago, they'll have a heat wave, right? Mm-hmm. It'll be like 2 weeks of hot weather, right? Mm-hmm. And then it goes back to being and during the heat waves, it always cools off at night, by the way, too, up north. Mm-hmm. Down here, our 80-degree mornings or 82-degree mornings or 83-degree mornings are like the high temperature in a lot of these places in the summertime. So I don't, when they're having a heat wave, I go, yeah, okay, yeah.
It all depends.
It'll go.
Yeah, it depends where you are.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things that was hard for me to get used to here in Arizona was that during the summer at night it doesn't cool down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be 90 at night.
No, I'll be 100 at night sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, when we're at 115, 120, and then it gets down to, 100 at night.
But that's because you're in the valley, right? Somehow that's retaining the heat. It's like a bowl. Yeah, it's right. It's like a heat bowl.
Right here. It's right here in the depths of hell is where.
Vegas is the same way.
Yeah, so. The rocks and the sand's all heated up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes a while for that to dispense. Yeah.
Stops the airflow in that bowl you have there. Yeah. Like in Vegas, where you look at in this sometimes, and it's just like this haze, like this smoggy brown looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The mirage. Yeah. The mirage effect.
I guess that's a mirage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I want to get to some of the stuff that's going on in the news. Let's do that. Let's take a little bit of a break here. I did send you guys this stuff about since we were talking about California and places like that. I sent you guys this news about Jackson Mayor Lumumba. That's the guy's name, Lumumba. Uses COVID-19 to suspend open carry. I saw that. Coleon Noir had a video about this where he was really fired up. So basically, what this guy did, I'm gonna read through it here. Jackson, Mississippi Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba has issued an executive order suspending open carry laws in his city using the coronavirus pandemic as justification, or has he? There's a question mark on this particular one. Lumumba appeared in a video uploaded to the City of Jackson's YouTube channel on Friday, April 24th, announcing the order, saying that he was issuing the action as a result of high gun crime in the city and hardship the open carry law had on law enforcement in getting illegal guns off the street. And then he apparently pulled the video and put the video back up. I know that Coleon Noir made a thing about this. How does a city's problems with illegal guns have anything to do with people who are legally open carrying guns?
And that's the thing is that it doesn't. The stupid thing about this whole thing is that it says that it gave them probable cause to seize the weapon to determine whether or not it was an illegal gun. Well, for one, there's not too many illegal guns out there. There are people that may be owning a gun that are not able to legally own a gun, but how many illegal guns are really out there? Yeah. I would say that number is
that's
so
an interesting concept. Maybe we should build a wall around America to stop these illegal guns from coming in.
Right.
Maybe we should build a wall.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, what is the fact of how does the gun become illegal?
Right.
Where does the gun become illegal? Maybe the person shouldn't possess guns, right?
Exactly.
Or maybe they have a stolen gun.
Right. It could be a prohibited possessor, or it could be a stolen gun, but those are not illegal guns. It's the person that is doing the illegal act, not the gun.
Where does the mayor of Podunkville
have the right
to have, like a dictator, no more guns for you?
I think he's just anti-gun, and he's just looking for a reason. He's just looking for a reason. He's just looking for a reason to maybe he wants to go up. I think politically from being a mayor to being a congressman or something like that. Because if you look at Coleon Noir's video, he says every time a guy says I support the Second Amendment, but some bad stuff is coming after that. So this guy says he supports the Second Amendment, but you have no right.
There's a picture out there with him and Bloomberg. He's licking Bloomberg's boots. They do this stuff to get money. They have to prove themselves out in public. They have to, hey, look, I'm beating my chest. Give me some money there, Bloomy. So. That's what he's doing. That's what he's up to.
Yeah, Babyface is sending me a "That's not how it works" meme. He sent me a "That's not how it works" meme. Yeah, this mayor. By the way, Cesar Jimenez says this guy's always eating. That's for you, Walter.
And it's awesome.
Then he says, I'm playing.
These are homemade chocolate chip cookies that have oatmeal and stuff in them. These things are awesome.
After you work in a hot sweatshop of your own making all day, you got to pack back on those calories.
One of the interesting things about this, what he's saying is, right. the open carry law not only provides protection for individuals who are armed with illegal weapons, it also creates an atmosphere of fear and intimidation in the community.
What
it does, really?
I don't know what the hell this guy. Yeah, first of all, let's picture for a second. Do gangbangers walk around open carry? Do they have a big leg holster strapped on? With their Colt Python? No, they don't. criminals aren't open carrying, and the violence that he's talking about, like I know Noir was talking about this. There was a girl, there was a drive-by shooting, and she was in her bedroom. It's things like that were happening that this law isn't going to have anything to do with, right? It's not going to affect it in any way. The gangbangers who are creating all this violence do not give two craps about what your laws are.
First thing you said, it's not a law.
Mm-hmm.
Not a law.
Mm-hmm.
It was not written in the law. It's like a dictator saying, "No bananas for you." Boom. Yeah. No. You can't walk. You can't spit on the sidewalk no more. Boom. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, man. He got no right to do that. I don't know what Alabama's stuff.
And then you're gonna do it during COVID-19. Isn't that like when you had Katrina? And then you try to tell people they couldn't defend. Imagine someone telling you can't do that while there's a freaking pandemic going on. I don't think this pandemic is all that big of a deal, but
no, it's not actually.
Yeah.
Like I said before, once it's all over with here, and the numbers actually get crunched, and the real numbers get crunched, people are going to go like, "What were we doing?
Yeah.
What the hell were we doing?"
Right. I think that this guy is looking for media attention, though, which everyone's giving him, obviously.
He's getting his name in the. Unfortunately, you can't pronounce his name, which.
Oh, I can pronounce it. You want me to tell you how to pronounce it?
Probably.
Yes, I can. It's Chokwe. Chokwe. His name is Chokwe Antar Lumumba. Remember,
and that's a real easy name for Joe Blow on the street to.
Listen, when I lived in Nigeria, my best friend, his name was
Turn into Pico Puco or something.
Listen
to
this, Walt. My friend,
make it La Bomba or something.
One of my friends I grew up with in Nigeria. This is his first name, Chukwu Emeke Kweme.
Well,
that's his first name. So you know what we called him?
Comfort.
Simon. Simon. No, Comfort. That's Lola's. That's Lola's mom's name. We just call him Simon.
But what I'm saying is, it's not a name that rolls off the tongue easily.
No, but I think this guy's just trying to get publicity. Yes, but what he's doing is very dangerous. It's actually more dangerous for those people. You know how you get rid of the gangbangers? You let the law-abiding, hardworking people in that town that you're the mayor of have guns. And you let them freaking open carry so that those gangbanger assholes see like, oh, we don't want to roll up on people in this town.
You see what they did in, I believe it was El Salvador?
El Salvador?
I think it was El Salvador down there. They got MS-19 and everything, right?
Oh, yeah, was that El Salvador?
The person in charge said that the police can use lethal force on the
on gangs,
on the gangers, yeah,
because the situation's gotten extra bad with COVID-19 and everything.
You see how they had them? They had them all. If you check out the article, they had them all lined up in prison, and the way they're sitting is like you're thinking, oh man, one guy, he's got his hand behind his back, and the next guy's got his legs spread behind, right in his hands. Mm-hmm. And every one of them's got tattoos. Mm-hmm. Every one of them got tattoos. It's like, man,
yeah,
and put them all together so they all catch the COVID.
Yeah,
that's what it is, probably.
Gray Death says he's trying to get Bloomberg money. Unfortunately, that's probably true.
Yeah, that's what he's
for sure.
Do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how you do that. It's shameful. It's shameful, though, and no kidding. I'm not just trying to say this. I think it's very destructive for neighborhoods that have like these gang problems when the people who are hardworking, law-abiding people that live in those neighborhoods can't defend themselves.
Well, the sad part is you got a mayor like this, instead of going out and rounding up these gang people and taking care of business, blames it on the gun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it ain't the gun.
By the way, freaking Duck Dynasty had a drive-by on his house, so come on now.
Is anybody upset about that?
No. We're not going to solve that by making some new laws.
He's a rich white guy. Who cares, right?
I'm surprised. Like, who's crazy enough to drive by on Duck Dynasty's house?
They got plenty of guns of their own.
Yeah, how did that person not get shot up?
They caught that dude. I don't know the story behind it, but they caught him.
How do you drive by on Duck Dynasty and get away with it? You got lucky. Yeah, you basically got lucky. Okay, so let's I don't know. Let's move on. Let's see some other stuff that's out there. Did you all see that Clinton she endorsed Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Here's a nice picture of Biden and Clinton getting nice, comfy, cozy together.
Yeah, they're all gonna suck butts.
Who looks creepier in this? I think Hillary looks creepier in this thing. She's like, you think, right now she's saying to him, you think you're creepy? I'm about to put the creep on your creepiness and creep the living daylights out of you.
Can I smell your hair, Hillary?
Probably Hillary's creepier than Biden, and that's saying a lot. So, what do you guys think about that? You think it's like a shoe-in now? Biden's the next president?
Nope.
What are you thinking?
No way.
No way. No way in hell.
No?
No way in hell.
I don't think so. I don't think he has a chance.
Right.
But you never know. You never know. But I don't think he has any chance.
He doesn't, and it doesn't mean right now he's the guy, anyways.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
There's a lot of,
go ahead.
There's a lot of stuff brewing probably in the background right
Okay,
now.
you're saying Biden's not going to be the final guy, and Ken, you're agreeing with that. You agree with that? Biden's
I don't know if he's going to be the final guy. I mean, I've heard rumblings of the mayor of New York, slide in there.
The mayor of New York? Oh, either one. Either one, I guess, would try for that.
Yeah.
Mayor of New York already ran, didn't he? And then he dropped out.
Yeah, he bailed out, yeah.
Yeah. The governor, people want the governor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the governor, sorry,
Yeah.
I misspoke. Yeah.
Yeah. The mayor of New York is
but
batshit crazy, though. But
Yeah. Well, the governor's right behind him, too, so.
yeah.
But I know that Biden would be crazy to have Hillary as a running mate.
Oh, no. He ended up dead before the election.
Exactly.
I don't think Hillary would go. She doesn't want to be vice president unless she thinks Biden's going to kick the bucket.
Well,
And she's trying to do a House of Cards move.
he would.
Right. So you think Biden really needed this critical Hillary Clinton endorsement? You think he really, this is pivotal in his presidential run?
No.
Yeah. DCG44 says Biden's a placeholder. I think that, I believe that too. I believe Biden's a placeholder. I think that he's a placeholder for Hillary, but they're going to somehow try to sneak Hillary in.
She don't have a snowball in hell's chance either, so.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't have a solid candidate. I mean,
who do you think would be a solid candidate? Both of you guys. Let's start with Ken. Who would be a solid? Why are you laughing, Ken? Come on. Who would be? Who would be a solid candidate for the Democrats, Ken? You got to help them out here.
I know. That's why I'm laughing. So I would get kind of shamed and. Because I liked watching the Democratic debates when they were going on, just because I thought it was so humorous.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny, and then I would be sitting in the other room all by myself, just laughing and yelling at the TV when they start talking their garbage, and I don't see how any of those clowns on that panel could have done anything. I think Bloomberg probably had the best chance of getting it, but
he's
Bloomberg. Oh no, I didn't think Bloomberg had a snowball's chance.
No, he's just he might be a billionaire, but he's boring as.
He is. And,
I mean, he's a short little troll. Yeah. So I mean, nothing against you short folks out there, but.
Yeah.
When you get on that podium or when you get next to that other leader someplace and you got to get on your tippy toes, he does not present himself as a world leader. He presents himself as a rich New York billionaire.
Well, also, I could tell you guys something. There's only one dude from New York that's becoming president anytime soon, and
as you?
That dude is already taking the spot.
That
dude's already on the spot. This is not happening again for another couple hundred years. So good luck with that. Statistically, being from New York, you are not getting in there. I'm just saying. Remember Hillary moved to New York? Remember that?
Yep.
She moved to New York. She sandbagged it.
Carpetbagger.
Yeah, carpetbagged it. Right. She moved to New York a long time ago, became a senator, immediately ran for president.
In New York.
Yeah. So I don't think it's happening. Trump is already in there. So I don't think another person from New York is getting in there anytime soon, other than Trump, who's already in there.
He's not. Trump is very, charismatic, very like, wow. He's in your face. He's like this. Bloomberg's not. He's like, oh, no, okay, well, yeah.
So you guys aren't helping, though. You guys aren't helping. I'm trying to get you guys to help the Democrats. They might be watching this.
I can't think of any, because I can't. None of the Democrats that could be a candidate.
You guys could think of something. You just don't want to help them.
Have a big enough set of nuts to say what they really think. They always got to drop in line and follow the party line.
How about The Rock? How about The Rock or something like that?
He's not a Democrat, anyways. I don't think.
I don't know. No, not The Rock. You guys can't think of anyone.
I don't know. What's her name? I'll think about it.
The woman from Hawaii that was running to try to.
No.
Yeah, Bernie definitely, he's out.
Bernie,
it's over for poor Bernie.
He should have known better. They're gonna. No, there's no way.
Bernie already endorsed Biden anyway, so.
Of course, they're all going to step in line because for some strange, just in case.
That chick from Hawaii endorsed Biden, even though the Democratic Party just stomped on her. Hillary stomped on her and said she was a Russian plant and all that, and she still endorsed Biden.
She just misspoke. That's no big deal. They all get in line because if for some strange that Biden didn't get elected, they want a spot. Mm-hmm. They want a spot. They want to get on the cabinet. They want to get on the Department of Water Saving.
They're playing the long game. The long game.
Yeah, right.
Right. Okay. Understood.
The Republicans do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They can't stand on their own.
So you guys just don't want to help out anyone by coming up with any suggestions.
I can't even tell you who would be a good Republican. Because you know why? What's going to happen after Trump can't run anymore? You're going to get Mr. Meek and mild-mannered Republican. Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. And people are going to go, "What the over?"
Yeah.
Where's our ballsy get in your face president again? Ain't there no more.
Yeah. Well, that's why we probably need. To be honest with you, I think we need a reset for all these parties.
Well, that ain't gonna happen. So just like the aliens and all that stuff.
I think Trump is the reset for the Republican Party.
If the Republicans were smart enough to realize it, yes.
Yeah, I think let's stop getting the old establishment dudes up in there. Trump only had ever one political office in life: president. That's it.
Women.
No, I'm saying. I mean, that's the only political office he's held.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be tough.
So what if Oprah Winfrey ran?
Oh God.
Wow. Okay.
It's one thing. It's one thing to be a like she is, business person, whatever, in the public. But when you go for president, everything in your whole life will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, everybody you kissed, everybody you didn't kiss, everybody you wanted to kiss, will all be out there.
Yeah.
All the fat pictures, all the skinny pictures, all the, the crazy stuff on the show, all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think Oprah's gonna run.
No.
I think that I don't think she wants any of that. So. Would she win? I don't think she would. I don't think she would have a good chance either. I think they might try to push Michelle Obama out there to.
Oh God, no! That's another joke too.
But seriously though, I think that's what they're trying to, like they feel like Hillary can't really do it, but Michelle Obama could be the wife.
Have they sealed all her records for her whole life? Yeah.
I don't know.
Like they did Obama's?
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you what you really need to do is come out with new people. Now everyone's got dirt or whatever on them, but people don't want to see the same old people out there doing this stuff. So,
she's like the lunchroom monitor. That's what her main job when she was the first lady. She was telling the kids what they shouldn't eat, and then she's going back and having the White House chef make her whatever she wants. So,
chocolate chip oatmeal cookies.
Hell, fuck yeah.
Okay, so all right, let's move on.
Oh, that's my bad one word.
Let's move on. Oh yeah, you've dropped lots of bad
That's
words.
one.
Yeah, exactly. That's your
That's
100th.
what I'm saying. If you're going to tell me I can't go see my doctor, then guess what? You shouldn't go see your doctor, Walter Reed, then. Right? Only fair.
We should all have this. We should all have access to the same.
You should go down to the
same
health department
justice, same medical, everything. Everyone should get
down to the health department.
Yeah, we're not the same, but when it comes to certain things, like everyone should have the same justice. If you want to make healthcare a thing, then everyone should get the same healthcare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's just the way that it should be.
Yep.
But that's not how it actually works.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not how it works in the real world. Let me go to this, because I think this is an interesting thing, and I shared this for the folks out there. This is on the Truth About Guns. It says, with a 95% drop in airline passengers, the rate of guns found by TSA, soars. So with far fewer people flying because of travel restrictions during the coronavirus pandemic, airport security screeners are naturally finding fewer guns in carry-on baggage, but the ratio of guns to passengers seeking to board airplanes has jumped sharply. The Transportation Security Administration said Monday that it found 58 guns at checkpoints from March 22nd to April 22nd, compared with 346 guns over the same stretch last year. So obviously less, but less of a ratio of people. So what would you guys guess is the reason for this? Because if you read this article, they go in to talk about the reasons, but let me see how good you guys
probably
are.
Probably because the TSA have less to do, so they'll do more looking.
That's one.
I would say that there's more people carrying right now, and then for some reason they forget to take it out before they go hop on a plane.
Yep, that's another one. They said that, that it's everyone right now, with just like we were talking about earlier about people getting more guns. So because people are getting more guns, not everyone understands how that works. People have been looking at movies and news all this time. All the new gun people, the old gun people know that there's all these things, but the old gun people who never bought guns before think, oh man, I see people carrying guns on planes. You could just do whatever you want with these things. You can go in the store and just buy it and walk out and all that. So they're going to airports with guns and getting busted. People are like, wait a second, you can't do this.
Yeah,
right.
It would be an interesting fact to find out how many of those people how long they have had firearms for, are they new firearm owners and they just didn't know they couldn't just go take it on the plane. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, before you go hop on a plane, before I leave the house, you empty out all your pockets and make sure that you have, because you can't even take on a small little pocket knife.
No.
So,
I'm paranoid as hell. I'm going to forget something.
Yeah, so I also don't want them taking anything from me in the airport.
No.
You know, like your pocket knife might be a nice one, and you don't want to give that. I don't want to give it up if it's a bad one.
No.
So yeah, I think that I think there's a lot of people out there. The biggest part of this is probably that the TSA, they're just not as busy, so they're bored and they're checking more people.
They're actually maybe doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I don't know, man. I think
instead of harassing the old ladies in wheelchairs.
Yeah. They're they don't have they can't X-ray enough people and look at their private parts. So they're looking for more guns. But I think also there's just a lot of people out there that don't understand you can't fly with these things.
I guess.
Well, yeah, you can check them, but you can't take them on your carry-on, and you can't take them on your person. But as long as you check them, and that's always a fun process to check.
Yeah. I would say to new gun people, please. There's lots of info out there. There's this thing called the internet, and you can Google stuff.
Leave your guns.
You can look up laws. There's also apps, stuff that tells you what you could do. But as a rule of thumb, don't try to get on a plane with a gun.
This ain't 1970 now. Come on.
Yeah, we used to be able to do it.
1968 or 19 whatever.
They're probably thinking, I remember my dad would just fly with his gun all over the place. What's going on in America? There's going to be a lot of people that are waking up to all the draconian gun laws.
I hope
this.
so, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
It'll be nice.
I think there'll be a lot. I think there'll be a lot of used guns for sale here pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we looking out for that?
I always use the hurricane generator thing.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a generator during hurricane season. When after hurricane season, they don't want it in their garage.
Yeah.
So
true. So that brings me to a question. I'll come back to some new stuff here in a second. Let's ask Ken while he's here. Obviously, other than the guns that you make, you collect guns, right?
Sure.
Right. So what's on your list of guns you don't have that you're looking to get? That maybe if some people are out there buying it up right now, you're thinking, I might get this later on pretty cheap.
Oh, I would probably make a lot of people mad if I said I'm not looking for anything right now because I have everything that I want, I wanted to get.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
And I can't say that. I'll never be able to say that.
There's no gun that you've always, like, what's your grail gun? What's that gun you've always wanted to get, or have you just gotten that?
Well, I've just gotten it.
Oh, okay.
If I want it, I just go get it.
All right. What's the most? Give us some of the badass guns that's in your collection, if you don't mind telling us that.
What?
So
I know you got a Mac-10. I know you got a lot of full auto stuff. Yeah.
Well, not a lot.
Okay.
I have two.
Oh, okay.
I only have two, but the two that I do have are, one of them's nice. It's a Cobra M11-9, and a local company here in Arizona makes a upper receiver for that Mac 9.
Mm-hmm.
And Lage.
It begins with an L, yeah.
Lage, yep. So I have a Lage upper for it, and it basically takes the rate of fire from 1,200 rounds a minute to 600 rounds a minute, which makes, it's not as fast, but, when you dump a 32 round mag in a second and a half, that's fast enough. And, it just makes it more manageable and a lot of fun to shoot. That I want to say that's whenever I go out and do any demos or shoots, with either companies or, friends that are going out, I always bring that, and that's always the big hit, just because it's full auto and it just runs.
Okay.
So other than that, really, I'm not out shooting anybody else's firearms except for really my own. I have ARs, but I never take them out anymore.
Would you consider yourself a bullpup guy? By the way, this is a toy for anyone, any YouTube overlords looking. Would you consider yourself a bullpup guy? Do you collect bullpups?
Yeah, I have several different manufacturers bullpups, older ones, newer ones. I like to collect them, look at them, see what everybody else has done, so that I can do something different, kind of a thing. So, and I've got some really strange, weird, off the wall bullpups that people say, well, why do you have that? That thing is ugly. Yep, it is ugly, but you know what? It's cool because it is ugly, and it was in its day was state of the art and prime, but now people look at them and say, oh, those things are ugly. But I like them. I like how they're different, because not one bullpup is really the same to another. They're their own unique beast in and of itself.
Yeah, so give us some examples of some bullpups. Like, I'm trying to get my hands on an arm pistol. I have a buddy that's supposed to be helping.
I sent you some information before on that arm pistol.
I know. Someone I know was supposed to be helping me get an arm pistol, but I don't know. It might be the person popping up next to you in this chat right now. Yeah. Oh. That guy with the guilty look on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am still trying to get an arm pistol.
Again, those are ugly. And when I first got it, everybody that saw it is, oh, what do you have that for? That thing.
Arm pistols
ugly.
are cool. Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah.
they have their own unique design, and and I even have a Bushmaster rifle that was built in that same time period, and if you look at the receiver on that arm pistol, it's the same as their rifle.
Yeah.
It's got the charging handles up on the very top of the receiver, and everything it's basically an arm pistol in a rifle configuration. I just like kind of collecting that.
So at one point, that arm pistol was kind of like a halo gun for them, I guess. Kind of
they were made for the Air Force and people jumping out of helicopters and planes, and something
the
short.
Concept was anyways.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Military never really used it.
I was gonna say they aren't. If I had to defend myself with that, I don't know that I would probably try.
You might not survive that.
I may be able to throw it at them, but because it's just
up close. You're pretty good. You're good to go. They're really weird. I mean, you've seen Walter and I have done a video. Walter has one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why Walter is trying to not make sure I don't get one. So I'm just teasing you. Yeah.
They're hard to come by. They're hard to find.
Yeah. I know somebody's got one that wants to do a deal, but you like to be the middleman.
Yes,
not in a weird sexual way. Do you like to be the middleman on gun deals?
I don't.
Fun.
No, and I personally don't either, because he asked me what's he got, and then he wants it.
Yeah, I'm like, what does he want?
You two need to get together and talk yourselves, not
right. Yep. I always just pass it off. I said, hey, here's somebody that wants that. You guys two work it out. I don't want to be in the middle.
He's up there, and this guy he pops in every once in a while. Yeah. The other guy's got it, and it's like, and then Hank's like, well, why don't you give him something? Why don't you get it from him with something you've got, and then I'll get it from you.
Walter's not giving up anything.
If I get it from something that I've got, then guess where it's going?
It's
going in my safe. And see, I don't have any problem having 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, I know.
The one thing about the arm pistols and those I have a Bushmaster rifle too.
Mm-hmm.
The assault rifle is called.
Right.
Those arm pistols, they made them from just parts they had laying around, I think, and they're all different. There's 3 or 4 different models of that Bushmaster arm pistol with little variations and the cocking handle in different places, and it's one of those you could collect 3 or 4 or 5 of them. They'd all be different.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like Sten guns. If you know anything about Sten guns. Every Sten gun is different because all the parts are made in all these different little shops.
Mm-hmm.
So no two are hardly the same. So.
Right. Yeah. So my other, talking about the Sten, so I have a Stemple, which is very similar to the Sten, but it's 45, but it's one of those older grease guns, like the Sten. That's fun to shoot too.
Yeah. By the way, while you guys are talking about this, I'm gonna throw in. This is from my Instagram. Here's a bullpup I found recently. Right, this is the what is this? Model 10 Series B from High Standard.
Yep, I have one.
Oh, you got one of those? What do you think about these? I haven't even shot this thing yet. By the way, my least favorite words when Ken's got one already. Oh.
Yeah. But mine has the built-in. So they had different models too. Mine has the built-in light on the front.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're not really any fun to shoot. I mean, they're cool to have, and it's it's a piece of history. But if I was gonna shoot a shotgun, I wouldn't shoot that.
That's not their choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you saying, Walt?
No, I mean, okay.
Show a picture of it, Hank. Since you have a picture of it, so people did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, you gotta have if you're making bullpups, you need to have an example of every kind of bullpup there is. I mean,
Yeah, if you're
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense.
The bullpup thing. Here, I'll show it again.
You can see what other people did and things like that.
Yeah.
It's for the library. That's what I say. It's for
no, I think they're cool. I think bullpups are cool to to collect. Is your 6 covered? Is here? He says. Did someone say bullpup? You know, and I also see Gun Doctor TV out there. So what other cool bullpups are there? We should. Oh, actually, no. Before I go on to that, what do you think about the high standard? What do you think about that, Ken? Do you shoot it?
Well, I don't. No.
No. Okay. I haven't shot mine either. I heard it's very picky on ammo. I think you can only do high brass on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see what other bullpups out there. I'm trying to get this from you while we're here. What are you guys sound like you don't want to tell me about the bullpups that I need to do. Yeah.
Well, it would be easier if I could just go open up the safe and pull out the safe and just show them all to you, like we did in that one episode.
Yeah.
Let me throw the hard one on you, FAMAS.
Oh, the FAMAS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they're.
Do you have one?
No, because you can't have one of those. So if you do, then it's very rare. There's only a handful of them, I believe. Here.
Yeah, they didn't bring in very many semi-autos before that all stopped.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the FAMAS is, it's a piece of history. I have talked to some guys that carried that as a duty weapon when they were over the pond
in England,
in the military over there. Yeah,
that's in France. When we were in France during the Normandy thing this past June for the 75th, and the police guy they were still carrying, the police guys did.
Yeah. So I'm throwing up some pictures. I'm throwing up some pictures of that. So, is there a kit? No one in America ever made a kit for these. What's the deal with that? Or it was just like not for the FAMAS, like where you can. No, it wouldn't be valuable anyway, right? No one would want a kit for that as a collector thing, right?
No.
Okay.
Hey, what are you going to start with?
I don't know.
Let's say you got to start with something that's going to.
So how about and I guess you can't. It's still on the patent, so you can't just make an American version of it.
No, you could make an American version of FAMAS. Sure.
Oh, you
There's
could.
no patent. That gun. That's an old gun. That's from the 70s.
Oh, okay. So how come no one's gone for that?
Because it's French.
Oh. Okay.
The first thing people do when you mention a gun person, the first thing you do when you mention France is they go, "Oh, they threw it up in the air and they surrendered." Yeah. Which is not always the case.
But we got French guns. We got French guns.
Oh, I don't have any problem with French guns. I like all guns.
Yeah.
So
we've got other. What's give me an example of some French guns. Isn't FN? FN? No, FN's not French, right? No, that's
the French actually didn't use the FN.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the ones that didn't use the FN FAL, I don't think.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. They had their 4956, which is the MOS 4956. And then they had the 49, then they had the 4956, and then they went from that to the FAMAS, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there's anything in between. And now the French, I think, God forbid, they went HK, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So they went to the dark side. If I remember from the stuff I've seen about contracts.
Yeah. So, Ken, other than obviously you've been making the M17S series, right? You've done 5.56, 308, which I have a 308. I think you have a 300 black, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been kind of in the prototype work stage for a really long time. I thought I had all the work bugs out of it, started up production, did a sample run, started doing some test firing with the production parts, and somehow, somewhere, something got, I don't want to say changed, but it wasn't acting like my prototype and so I made a prototype. I then made 2 more prototypes and did all the testing with that, and then started, production, and then something happened. One of the things that I did find that's very interesting with a 300 blackout is ammo. Ammo is a bad thing with 300 blackout.
Is it very ammo specific?
So I have found and uncovered some things that I was hoping that I would not ever uncover in ammo manufacturers.
Okay.
And that is inconsistencies.
Oh no! Yeah, of course.
It's ridiculous.
I believe
let
it.
me let me just go grab something really quick
Okay.
off my bench so that I can kind of explain
As long as
what I'm
it's
talking
not a
about.
gun, it's all good.
It's not a gun.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to my world with 50 cal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely
There's all kinds of differences in ammo. So
yeah. What's the most common 50 cal?
Cartridge?
Yeah. What's the most common round that everyone buys?
I would probably say American Eagle.
American
Lake
Eagle.
City
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, American
and
Eagle.
and I've been using that for test firing lately, and I hadn't had any problems with it. But a lot of people will get a ammo from a company, and it says LC on the. They're using military brass that's been reloaded, but they tell me it's Lake City. It's like, well, no, it's not Lake City. If you got in a box from this company, that means they reloaded it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
what the brass was before. Okay, so
I went out and purchased a gauge,
Mhm.
a case gauge, so that I can then look inside and see where it's actually wasn't loaded correctly.
Mhm.
It also has, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little groove on top of this gauge,
Mhm.
and that will give you your go no go as far as if it was loaded correctly. Okay.
case height. Case
Yep.
height.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I throw that one in there, it's pretty good. It's flush.
Yeah, tip it towards the
Okay.
camera so we can see it, I guess. Tip it towards. You
That's
might have to
not
back up a little bit. Yeah, you're probably too close. Okay, then now tip it. Okay.
Okay. All right. So it fits flush in there. This one's actually tight. Normally they'll drop right out, but if I have one that looks like this,
Oh dear.
okay, and this is all factory loaded ammo. Okay.
So that'll
This
get you
is-
what? That'll get you like an out of battery or something?
That'll get you a stuck case.
Stuck case.
Okay.
Okay, and then it won't cycle, and then it's the problem. Okay, so whose problem is that? Okay,
Yours.
so it's
When-
my problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When they call on the phone, it's your gun.
Yep. Okay, so this manufacturer, Arms Corps.
Mhm.
Okay.
Philippines.
So I'm looking at it like, okay, people are going to buy the cheapest ammo they can and shoot the cheapest stuff because 300 blackout is not cheap.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they're wanting to go through and shoot the cheapest stuff out there. So that's what I was, and so this one here it's still high. It's not as high as the other, but it's still
sitting a little
sticks up.
proud. Okay.
Yep. Okay. And this is made by a company called Gorilla. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
And I've got a handful of them in here that and I'll go through a box of 20 and I'll find 2 or 3 that are too high. But not everybody's going to go through all of their ammo and run it through a gauge. I mean, this gauge.
So you're saying in the same box you're finding different specs.
Exactly, in the same box.
Hmm.
So they can load up their full magazine out of the one box, and boom, all of a sudden they have a misfire because it didn't chamber all the way, and then they got a stuck case, and so that's kind of where that kind of stopped me right off the bat.
Is this why there's not too many companies that are making bullpups in 300 blackout? Now I think that Tavor came out with one, right? I haven't shot it. I think that I'm not even sure if it's actually out. I know anyone that was going to do 300 blackout in a bullpup. I don't think I've actually seen it. I think Tavor was working on one. IWI.
They were. I don't know if they ever released it or what they did. And the way to get around it, and I can get around it, and just make the chamber a lot bigger,
looser,
so that it chambers everything. But then you're going to have inconsistency with accuracy and this and that. And the other thing that I also found too, not only were they not loaded correctly, but there's this wide range of powder that manufacturers are using. Okay. So I'm getting, some that have a fast burning powder, so it's cycling faster. I'm getting some that have a slow burning powder and it's not cycling all the way, and so it's all over the place. And I've just been dumbfounded how different this 300 blackout is as far as everybody that's low in ammo, and how it's caused me havoc. And I've got a bunch of money tied up into components and parts, because I've got enough to make 100 rifles. I've got 100 barrels and other parts that are specific to that 300 blackout, and they've been sitting now for a year and a half, 2 years.
Wow. Okay. So you don't currently have a solution.
So I do. I've gone through and figured out what I need to do in order to get it to cycle. Now, there will always be that case where the ammo is not loaded correctly, and you get that stuck case. But once that happens, I'll have to tell people, sorry, it's the ammo that you're using, and it is what it is. But as far as getting it to cycle and whatnot, I've been able to work out those bugs. One, because I have an adjustable gas block, and it can be tuned to different ammo. And
yeah. Wow. Okay. Go ahead, Walt.
Well, when brass is that far out of spec, I mean, it's almost, you have to. I know some companies have a list of ammo to use.
Manufacturers, yeah.
Use this, use that. Do you find that the big box like Winchester and Remington are more consistent, or is it the off brands that are really out of the?
I have found loaded rounds in everybody's box that doesn't meet the spec with the gauge.
Wow. Okay.
So, and if they were to just bump that shoulder back a little bit more, is really all that it needs, and it would be fine. It's the problem when they don't have their dies set to the right height, or they're using weird brass. I can tell you that. So I got my older brother into reloading, and he's been taking a lot of 223, 556 cases and cutting them and then sizing them. Yeah. And doing all that. He found one head stamp, and I can't tell you which head stamp it was, because I can't remember. But he ended up having 200 rounds that he had already done everything to, except for trim to size. And he's got one of these fancy trimmers that you just stick the case in and it trims it, and it deburrs it, trims it, does everything. And he cannot get it to go into the machine in order to do it. And he's resized them and everything, and it just won't work. Well, what I told him to do was, okay, well, let's start measuring the case thickness. And sure enough, the brass was 5/1000 too thick. And once it was a little heavy, then it wasn't able to size it right. And so a lot of these people that aren't using brand new brass and are using some brass that, is already, once fired brass, boom, there you go. You'll have problems.
Yeah. Resized GI brass. And
okay. So reloading.
Everything in between.
Yeah. So reloading is not a good option for this either, or?
Oh no, I would reload. I would reload everything exclusively with the 300 blackout.
Okay. Yep, so it's better for a reloader then.
Then you can check.
You could check.
It sounds like you have to check each case to make sure it's the right length after you resize them and all that. So yeah, it's tedious.
Right.
Was there any company that you found that was more consistent than the others, or?
So the Seller and Bellet.
Okay.
Check.
There's slides in and out. I mean it no problem at all. None at all with them. The Federal was kind of hit and miss. I would get some that would and some that wouldn't, but other than that, the Fiocchi sometimes I would get. Like I say, every single manufacturer that I have that I've looked at, I've always found at least one at some point in some time that didn't meet the gauge.
Okay. What's the demand for the 300 blackout? Is it that big of a demand for it?
No, and see, when I was first, after I finished the 5.56, I got this fly over here. I'm gonna kill it. Mm-hmm. I need one of those. I need one of those bug assault guns to shoot it.
Yeah, here you go. I'll just give you mine right through the camera.
Okay, there you go. So when I was developing, so after I was in production on the 5.56 model, I actually, the obvious transition was to go to 300 blackout because it wasn't going to be, much to do. Well, I actually had a prototype built of the 300 blackout, and I said, you know what, I'm going to abandon this project for now, and I'm going to stop everything and work on the 308 because I was having way more people ask about 308 than 300 blackout. And, I should have started with 308 from the very beginning. I never even should have developed the 5.56. I should have just went straight to 308.
308's the awesome one.
And
pretty
I
happy
sell,
with mine.
I sell way more 308s than I do of really any other model, the 5.56. And I can't even tell you the last time that I had somebody really ask about 300 blackout.
Yeah. So I know we're kind of running out of time here. What about 6.5 Creedmoor, man? Oh. Do you see the look on his face right now?
Yeah, like, I can tell. It's like, yeah.
So
don't even start that.
I had said at one point that I was gonna, dabble in the 6.5 Creedmoor. I don't know that I'm going to. From what I've seen from other manufacturers with the auto loading of a 6.5 Creedmoor is there's issues. There's issues with feeding. There's issues with reliability. That round was really developed for a bolt gun.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, is there really going to be a demand for it? I doubt that there will be.
Probably more of a bolt. Yeah, probably more of a bolt gun thing.
And I do still get people that ask me about the 6.5 Creedmoor, and at some point I may, if I get bored doing it, but I have other things up in my head that I want to build and do that aren't necessarily
so punishing.
Yeah, correct.
Good point, Walter. Good point.
People always bug me to do a 338 Lapua upper.
Yeah.
And I bought barrels. I've got barrels sitting on the rack, and it's just like, what am I doing? I'm going to sell 5 or 6 of these things, maybe every once in a while, and the rest of the time I'm going to have all these parts sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Test fire and ammo is expensive.
Yes.
I would almost have to reload it sometimes, probably.
Yeah, you do, and I reload my 338 Lapua, just because it's so expensive, but it's fun to shoot. It's an awesome cartridge. It's an awesome cartridge. It's fun to shoot. We can stick that thing up, 600-700 yards away, and you can tack anything and everything that you want. But it's expensive to shoot, and
so now I'm just selling the barrels on eBay.
Right.
Understood. Understood. Okay, listen. Obviously, the conversation here went by really fast because we're having fun. But we're at 9:00, so we probably need to wrap it up here. Let me start with Walter. The folks out there, Walter, that want to support what you're doing, where should they go? Let those guys know.
Check it out on Facebook, Instagram, safetyfirearms.com, stenparts.com, all reliable Sten parts.
Yeah. Dirt foot racing for your mini bike.
Oh yeah, for the go-kart, the mini bike stuff, anything with an engine, we're playing with that stuff.
Yeah.
So just you can check them all all those places. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, Walter.
Yeah.
Walter, really quick. Do you do if a person were to say that they had a parts kit for a Sten, do you do a semi-auto conversion for those?
Yeah. No. And the reason I don't do any semi-auto stuff is, first thing, there's so many different I don't have any parts myself for semis, but there's the parts that are out there for semis all vary from company to company. So if I was going to do a semi-auto Sten, I'd probably do it from scratch.
Right.
And that thought has went through my mind a few times, just to build a semi-auto Sten gun or pistol with a brace, and I just haven't acted on it yet.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
You need to hurry up and act on that, Walter.
Put
Put down the mini bike. Drop that mini. No, I'm just.
More gun stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, just exactly what you need. Exactly
More
what you
gun
need.
stuff.
Ken, how can the folks out there reach you? How can they buy the M17S if they're interested in that?
You can go direct to the website, www.kmarms.com. Unlike Walter, I do take a deposit. It's a $100 deposit, and that's just to have you have some skin in the game, just so that you can get on the list and it's ready for you. I've had too many people, hey, I want it, put me on the list, especially when I was very first starting up, and then 50% of those people bow out, and so
Yep.
if you want one, you put down a small deposit, and then when it's ready, I let you know, and everything's good to go. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through your Instagram right now for the folks out there who are interested. It's KM Arms, KM_arms. That's where you guys need to go. You should definitely follow Ken on there. He's posting some good stuff. For my part, I want to thank Franklin Armory for sponsoring the podcast here. Of course, I want to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com, get up on the email list. We're giving away stuff. We've got all the various links you need through there. Lola said if you're going to do the Sportsman's Guide thing and you're going to get the $20 off and all that kind of stuff, go through one of the links that we have. Let me drop the end on this for everyone. Make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, and ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We're going to rip out the audio from this and throw it up on iTunes and other places where you can get your audio podcast fix on. I want to thank everyone out there. We've got lots of people, tons of people. Richard Monder from England is hanging out with us. We have lots of other people coming through. Thanks to everyone for hanging out there. Any final words from you guys before I push the button over here?
No, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, it's been a fun show, man. We got to get you back on here more often. It really sucks that we can't show, we can't show guns and stuff like that because, because it just sucks, basically. It's the worst part of every day. Walter is always itching to start pulling guns out of the safe. Yeah, I always like to take a look at I always like to take a look at your collection, but if you follow these guys, follow Walter on social media, follow Ken from K&M Arms. It's usually KM Arms everywhere, right? Yeah. Follow them and you will get to see a lot of cool stuff that they have, and you can question them, ask them stuff as well. All right, I'm going to hit the button. Anyone has any final thoughts? No, we're out of here. Peace.